The Princess of Dubai, Her Highness Sheikha Mahra bint Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Princess Mahra, the cherished royal from Dubai, battles with a priest. Known for her grace and fashion feel, she quietly joined the congregation, filling the room with curiosity. But this became no longer only a casual go-to, as first-rate things commenced to occur inside the church the moment she stepped inside. Why did a royal from a Muslim US select this church? What awesome events spread out in the course of her time there? Join us as we screen the unbelievable that befell to the church Princess Mahra attended. A Muslim princess visits a church. It was a vivid Sunday morning in a quiet town in Cyprus. The streets have been very calm and warm, and the most effective sounds human beings should relate to were the gentle voices coming from the choirs. Families and buddies were strolling in the direction of a small, however stunning saint. Andrew's church in Nicosia, as they carried hymn books and plant life to the church. And for maximum of them, it felt like an ordinary day of worship, although it became the final Sunday of the 12 months. But as the provider changed into approximately to begin, something implausible befell. A black shining tinted car pulled up out of doors the church. Some men in suits got here down and opened the return door slowly, and someone who would by no means have been idea of got here down from the automobile, Princess Mahra of Dubai. He congregation iced over for a while due to the fact they could not believe what they had been seeing, as it is very uncommon to look a royal-owned family, now not from the Christian International, come to a tiny metropolis in Cyprus. Princess Mahra turned into wearing a modest outfit and a protracted white gown as she came down from the car with a grin on her face, moving quietly closer to the church. As she walked internal, her presence by myself changed into noticed. Even the kids should see that she become no longer only a regular character. Even along with her repute, she greeted a few individuals who had been close to the entrance before stepping internal. Inside the church, the congregation was filled with elderly humans, young families, and curious they turned again to study her, and that they had been whispering anywhere, and for a second the priest observed her and attempted to calm the humans. She determined a seat near the lower back, sitting with the everyday worshippers. However, the church environment became one of a kind, and those were curious about who she became and why she was within the church. But she sat down together with her hands folded in her lap, watching and waiting as though she knew something incredible became about to occur. This quiet little church had always been a non-violent vicinity. Why did Princess Mahra determine to go to it? An island of religion. Cyprus is a big island in the Japanese part of the Mediterranean Sea with a protracted records of Christianity. In the early days, those who chose to consider in Jesus Christ got here to Cyprus to talk about him. One of the maximum crucial human beings inside the USA turned into Saint Barnabas, now referred to as the customer saint of Cyprus. Over the years, many church buildings were constructed on this island, and every of them has its personal significance. The Church of Saint Lazarus became named after Lazarus, who turned into raised from the useless by Jesus. According to lifestyle, Lazarus got here to Cyprus and have become a bishop. But St. Andrew, the church that Princess Mahra visited, also has its importance, as it was constructed in 1913, and it has been serving the network in Nicosia for over 100 years. With the church constructed in a way that looks as if something old, it became built with the help of a few massive and well-known human beings. But this church isn't always just an ordinary church constructing, as it serves as an area where people come collectively to hope, sing, and discover peace. It has seen many critical events before, but a princess from Dubai in a place like this seems to be a special occasion. A woman born in a place with a distinct non-secular heritage who chose to visit the church felt distinct and precise, as it showed a connection between distinctive religions and cultures. And she commemorated the reality that a church may want to appreciate all religions, but her presence inside the church showed a second of unity. The people in the church noticed how someone from a different part of the sector may want to admire and respect their traditions. The princess has a unique way of connecting with human beings. But what makes her presence so unique and special from others? A princess of peace. While humans had been greatly surprised via the outfit the princess wore, some had been curious approximately who she become and in which she got here from. But Princess Mahra is not only an ordinary princess. She is a part of the royal-owned family of Dubai, one of the maximum popular towns within the global, regarded for its tall homes and golden deserts. And that isn't always all. Her father is Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai and the vice chairman of the United Arab Emirates. Being born into such an essential family manner, she has a whole lot of responsibility. However, she is also known to be a type land and treats all and sundry similarly. From the time she became young, she turned into taught to appreciate human beings from all parts of the globe with the values of her family's schooling, expertise, and supporting others, which helped her to grow to be the person she is now. The princess studied overseas in pinnacle faculties, learned more about teachers, and understood one-of-a-kind cultures and religions. She has constantly been a lady who was curious approximately the sector, making her stand out as someone who wanted to connect to humans no matter their backgrounds. She is from a Muslim family and follows the teachings of Islam, but usually suggests deep respect for other teachings. Her moves reflect deep respect on every occasion she attends occasions in temples or other locations. She feels that faith ought to now not divide people, however carry them collectively for a higher international. She in no way made her reputation approximately the name she has inside the royal family. The princess is thought to be the form of person who steps out of her consolation quarter simply to fulfill human beings, and wherein traditions are being celebrated that may be unique from what she reports in her USA. She is a lover of favor and additionally loves to revel in each culture and tradition as she participates in dispensing meals to traffic, and those appreciate how she embraced their subculture openly and respectfully, but she changed into just there to wait events. She was there to make a difference, working on tasks that assist people in need. And her goal turned into to expose that kindness and information can remedy many troubles within the world. People respect her for her calm and questioning, as she does no longer a seeking interest or display off her wealth. Princess Mahra best specializes in the usage of her position to inspire others to do desirable. Her presence in any accumulating is sufficient to go away a lasting influence as she listens to human beings, learns from them, is aware of their testimonies and reveals methods to help them. Many human beings assume it's miles unusual for a Muslim royal to visit a Christian church, but she changed into there to show that love and recognize can cross any boundary. Her works have continually been approximately growing moments wherein people can see themselves as humans and no longer as separate businesses. But this turned into not the handiest thing she did that surprised human beings. What made her actions so unforgettable to all people she met, with an awesome coronary heart. Though a few people inside the church have been privy to who she become, little did they realize that she has constantly been recognized for her acts of kindness and efforts to deliver humans together. And she has a few exceptional and excellent matters which have touched the lives of people around the arena. In her town, she spends time with youngsters with unique needs, additionally called children of willpower. As they smile, hug, and inspire themselves, her visits bring joy to the children and their households, displaying that everybody merits to be loved. She is always known to inspire local expertise in her USA as she attends activities that show the paintings of her fellow residents, like designs and humanities, helping them to advantage recognition by assisting them. Princess Mahra promoted the subculture and arts of her USA, with the aid of inspiring others to appreciate and preserve their traditions too. She is also a robust supporter of girls' rights and empowerment, taking part in occasions that assist ladies to pursue their dreams and make contributions to society, ensuring that young girls are encouraged and trust in themselves that they may be successful. Understanding that they have a role model who believes in their capability. Assisting the one's activities by celebrating distinctive traditions and selling an environment of recognize and studying. Her efforts have helped construct bridges among one-of-a-kind businesses as she promoted peace and cohesion everywhere. She also cares loads approximately the surroundings, supporting and protecting the planet for generations through elevating consciousness about environmental troubles and inspiring people to contribute to the arena by way of making it a healthier and cleaner vicinity. Apart from her contributions to her USS, the princess has executed endless things globally with the aid of participating with international corporations to useful resource the ones in want no matter vicinity. Her efforts have reached many humans, offering help and desire to the ones dealing with hard conditions within the region. Her movements encourage young humans, and through her public appearances and presence on social, she has endorsed the youngsters to accept their culture as the sector modifications. She balances her royal obligations with contemporary values, motivating the next generation to contribute to society. She is a lady devoted to promoting her lifestyle. When it comes to training, she supports programs that provide gaining knowledge of possibilities to underprivileged to construct a better future for themselves and their groups. Her efforts to create higher communities have been obtrusive through her aid for various social initiatives as she actively promotes and guarantees that people international feel respected. Princess Mahra has always been admired for her calm presence. What did she do on this church that left anyone speechless? Inside the quiet church in Cyprus, the entirety felt peaceful because the daylight shined through the window, making a sample on the ground. And as she sat quietly inside the again row, the carrier turned into about to start, and anyone was targeted as they listened to the priest. But then at the start, something easy passed off that no one could have anticipated. As the priest lit a candle at the altar, Princess Mahra stood up and walked towards the altar. But she stopped close to a small desk at the aspect of the church, wherein some candles had no fire on them. Princess picked up a small white candle and held it for a second, as if thinking about something very vital. Then she bent down and lit it the use of the flame of every other candle that turned into close by. This candle was so small that it were given the eye of the church, and all of us stopped what they had been doing and grew to become their attention to her. Even the priest watched her, curious approximately what turned into taking place. Lighting a candle in a church is visible as a manner to pray for someone or ask for peace. The people within the church did now not understand the motive the princess lit the candle, but something approximately had made them happy. As the carrier persevered, the candle the princess lit remained inside the corner, and those could not take their eyes off it, questioning what the gestures might be about. What made this act so powerful turned into how easy it turned into. It did not contain massive speeches, but it touched everybody in the room. But what happened next made the instant even extra unforgettable. Lighting an easy candle in a church might seem every day, but did a surprising event manifest afterwards? A non-secular connection. As the provider persevered, the church changed into calm, with most effective the smooth voice of the priest, and the prayers had been heard. Princess Mahra watches the candle she lit as it keeps to burn. Then something occurred, as a touch girl with curly hair and a shy smile were given up from one of the front rows and walked closer to the course in which the princess turned into. She became scared as she approached her, noticing the guys in black who had been status at the back of her. She accumulated her braveness, approached her, and walked toward in which Princess Mahra becomes sitting. Some of the adults observed and whispered to every other, questioning what the little girl was doing. However, the church became quiet as their eyes accompanied her small steps, till she were given to in which the princess become. When she arrived, she stopped and seemed up at her with wide, curious eyes. Without announcing a phrase, she added out a flower that looked loved had been picked from a garden. The princess leaned down as she smiled, took the flower from the female's hand, and held it as if it had been one of the most valuable gifts in the global. She thanked the little lady, and the girl whispered something into the princess's ears, her voice too quiet for every person else to listen. The princess made an expression as she nodded, and reached out to keep the lady's hand for a moment. However, it seemed like the little verbal exchange they had touched the princess's coronary heart. The woman grew to become returned and walked to her seat. However, the room was no longer similar to they felt. We have been all curious about what simply occurred. It was not clear why the female approached the princess or what she might have stated, but it turned into apparent to absolutely everyone that their short interaction had created a quiet connection that everyone should feel, even though they couldn't explain what they felt. After the provider, a few humans approached the little woman's mom, curious about what her daughter requested the princess. Her mother instructed them that her little woman thanked her for making the church experience warm and specific. But then, that became no longer the most effective issue that occurred inside the church. As the shy little girl went lower back to her seat, what befell subsequent shocked all of us. What could have been so surprising that even the priest became moved? The statue that moved. While people have been curious about the little communique among the little girl and the princess, something annoying turned into about to happen. As the provider turned into about to give up, the congregations have been seated with their heads bowed in prayer. At the front of the church became a large statue of St. Andrew, which had been there for many years, and stands as an image of religion for the network. It became made from smooth stone with a go held in one hand of the status, and the other changed into stretching forward as if it had been presenting consolation to individuals who saw it. Then there has been a touch crack inside the church, and it was so faint that humans concept it turned into because of the little kids who loved to play across the church. But the sound grew louder, which induced some people to raise their heads up and go searching. One of the choir members changed into shock as she pointed towards the altar, even as trembling. All eyes have been targeted at the fame, and to anybody, it seemed to transport barely from its regular position, as though it were bowing ahead. It was a gradual movement, making human beings not observe what passed off. The priest who were standing near the altar could not trust his eyes as he held his Bible tightly, due to the fact the movement of the statue was not possible, as statues do no longer circulate on their very own, yet it became leaning ahead. The kids in the church had been curious about what occurred, asking their parents many questions. But the parents were additionally lost, as they were uncertain what they noticed or what to mention. But Princess Mahra, who was at the again, did now not seem amazed. Instead, she watched the reputation as she located her fingers at the flower the little girl had given her. The priest took a formidable breakthrough, trembling as he stated that God had blessed all of us these days, and the incident changed into no longer a coincidence but a message from God. It became a reminder of religion and unity among them. The congregation commenced to murmur once more as many kneeled down in prayer with their heads bowed low, at the same time as others stared at the statue, unable to look away. Statues aren't supposed to move, but no one ought to give an explanation for why this one moved. What may want to have brought about such an unusual event? A heartfelt track. After the unusual second with the popularity, the church felt specific and the air become exclusive, as all and sundry was questioning what would take place subsequent. But then the choir stood up. They have been a set of 15 people ranging from younger children to aged males and females. They wore simple robes, and their faces confirmed that they had been fearful, however calm, as they organized to sing. The choir started out their song softly with mild first notes, and the hymn became familiar to everybody in the church. It spoke about love, wish, and locating peace in hard situations. The choir's voices crammed the church as they calmed the members, making the frightened energy within the room disappear. People began to relax, making each person, which includes the scared little youngsters, became their faces towards the singers. As they continued to sing, Princess Mahra took a few steps forward as her eyes were on the choir. But in the beginning, the individuals were not certain where she turned into going to move, as they notioned she became about to depart the church. But to anybody's wonder, she walked in the direction of the choir, stopped, and began to sing. Her voice was tender and clear, although it changed into no longer loud, but it made the church sing alongside her. The choir contributors kept making a song as their self-assurance grew with the presence of the princess, and with the aggregate of their voices, they sang so fantastically that it added tears to the eyes of many human beings in the room. A woman sitting inside the 2D row, tears rolling down her cheeks, whispered that it felt like heaven become in the church, and others agreed with her. Even the priest standing near the altar was moved. His hands on his Bible were moved, However, his eyes on Princess Mahra. Her making a song appeared to hold more than words, as it carried a feeling that something had touched the hearts of all and sundry in the church. As the hymn ended, the room changed into silence. For some moments, nobody moved or spoke, as though they were afraid to disturb the peace that had settled in their hearts. Then someone commenced to clap, and others joined. Soon, the whole church was clapping, as a signal of gratitude for the moment that they had just experienced. Princess Mahra smiled warmly, however did now not say anything, bowing her head slightly and returning to her seat as though not anything top-notch had befell. The tune, voices, and her presence had created a memory that no one inside the church could ever overlook. But what occurred subsequent was fantastic. As the service ended and the congregation left the church, they carried with them an experience of surprise they could not provide an explanation for. Princess Mahra's quiet moves, from lights an unmarried candle to becoming a member of the choir, became a normal day into something tremendous. The second with the statue, the heartfelt hymn, and the connection she made with a shy infant showed that her visit turned into now, not just an occasion but a message. What do you consider Princess Mahra's go-to and the mysterious activities that befell in the church? Could her quiet acts bring a deeper message approximately religion and connection? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to love, share, and subscribe for greater. Also, click the following video displaying in your display. After she lit the candle, she located it lightly on the table with the other candles, and he or she stood there for a second as she closed her eyes, pronouncing phrases of prayer. Then she walked lower back to her seat with a peaceful face. This situation made the church sense exclusive, as some humans felt a peculiar sense of consolation as if they had been being reminded of something essential. But they could not provide an explanation for it, and others whispered to themselves as they questioned what the act was all about. One little boy sitting beside his mother asked her who the princess changed into, and his mother responded. His mother told him who the princess turned into and said her visit to the church turned into no longer only a regular visit, as she felt something may manifest ultim.